Not every sale happens at the register. Before AT&T Business Wireless, checking out customers on our mobile POS systems took too long. Basically a staring contest where everyone loses. It's crazy what people will say during an awkward silence. Now transactions are done before the silence takes hold. That means I can focus on the task at hand and make an extra sale or two. Sometimes I do miss the bonding time. Sometimes.
AT&T Business Wireless. Connecting changes everything.
A BetterHelp ad. Hold on. 1 second. I just need to... What if you had a room where no one interrupts? No notifications, no expectations, just space to talk. With BetterHelp, therapy happens in a space that's yours. Visit betterhelp.com/randompodcast for 10% off your first month of online therapy.
On today's Smart 7, protests in Belfast turn violent, US launches proportional response at Iranian targets, and much more. It's Wednesday, 10th of June, it's Ballpoint Pen Day, and happy birthday, Elizabeth Hurley.
The Smart 7. It's news, but not the news.
A Sudanese man was charged with attempted murder on Tuesday night after a brutal attack in Belfast that left a man in a serious condition in hospital. The attack, which took place on Monday, was filmed by bystanders, and the clip has been circulating online and been shared by far-right influencers including Tommy Robinson and Elon Musk in a bid to spark further protests over immigration. Protests on Tuesday night saw cars, a bus and even homes set alight as the protest turned violent, and former First Minister Baroness Foster was blaming those who encouraged violence across the province.
The people that are causing this violence and moving the protest from a peaceful protest to a violent protest have a lot of responsibility on their shoulders.
Her calls for calm were echoed across the political spectrum, with Northern Ireland Secretary Hilary Benn speaking in the Commons and making a point of praising the intervention of bystanders who helped to save the man's life.
Amidst the horror of what happened, when confronted with scenes of terrifying violence, members of the public did not walk on by. Instead, a number of them stepped forward. They intervened to pull the assailant away and protect the victim.
Ukrainian President Zelensky was in Estonia on Tuesday to meet with leaders of the Nordic and Baltic countries as they gathered for a regional summit. He apologised to the leaders of Estonia, Latvia and Lithuania, all of whom have seen rogue Ukrainian drones cross their borders recently. He blamed Russian electronic warfare for interfering with the drones' guidance systems. He was also continuing his positive messaging about Ukraine's progress in the war with Russia, emphasising that this is the moment to apply more pressure to Vladimir Putin as progress on the front line stalls. He was keen to offer Ukraine's expertise in drone warfare.
As one partner said today during our meeting, Europe cannot protect itself without Ukraine, and I thank all partners for acknowledging that.
Tuesday also saw the EU launch a new round of sanctions on Russia. This is the 21st set since the war began just over 4 years ago. The new round, introduced by EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, targets Russian crypto and oil and a specific ban on Russian military personnel.
We focus on the sectors with the highest impact, that is energy, trade, and this time it includes for the very first time fisheries. And we are banning the entry of former Russian combatants into the European Union.
The US has carried out a series of strikes on Iranian targets as what it called a proportionate response to the downing of a US Apache helicopter on Tuesday. It appears the helicopter was impacted by an Iranian drone and the 2 airmen on board were rescued, but it is not clear what this will mean for the stalled peace talks, with Iran launching strikes in response at a US airbase in Jordan. Israel once again launched strikes in Lebanon and issued evacuation orders for the whole city of Tyre, the second largest in the territory. It comes just days after a supposed ceasefire, and Israeli forces also continue to push into Gaza, taking more territory. Democratic Senator Bernie Sanders says it's come to the point where there's no choice about how to describe Israel's behaviour.
And I think what happened in Gaza is, in fact, and I say this reluctantly, is genocide. The suffering the Palestinian people exist today is a disaster.
Last week saw huge controversy over the sentencing of a Sikh man, Vikram Digwa, over the death of student Henry Nowak. Far-right influencers, including Tommy Robinson and Reform leader Nigel Farage, sought to capitalise on the death, and there were violent protests in Southampton. Prime Minister Keir Starmer has firmly rejected the notion, espoused by Robinson, of two-tier policing in the UK, but Tory leader Kemi Badenoch joined the conversation on Tuesday. She made a speech on equality laws, and while she said that modern Britain is the least racist country on earth, she also called for the scrapping of rules for public bodies that require them to consider promoting equality in their decisions.
Why are public bodies so unable to act with common sense when race or identity is involved? Why are they so distracted, busying themselves with things that have nothing to do with their core function?
Still to come on today's Smart 7 in association with Metro, Wimbledon stars warm up at Queen's and Steven Spielberg shares a childhood memory right after this.
While every other channel is fighting for your customers' attention, podcasts are where they've already given it. No one accidentally listens to a podcast for 45 minutes. They choose to be here. They trust the voice in their ears, and when that voice talks about your brand, it doesn't sound like advertising. It sounds like a recommendation from a friend. Acast gives you that trust at scale. Digital precision, host-read authenticity, and performance data that proves it worked. Don't fight for attention. Buy it with Acast. Learn more by visiting acast.com/advertise.
Welcome back.
We're heading towards Wimbledon and 2 weeks of strawberries and champagne in SW19, but first we have the Queen's Championships just down the road in Kensington. And this year there is plenty of star power in the official warm-up. Serena Williams made a return to competitive tennis on Tuesday evening, playing doubles with Canadian teenager Victoria Mboko as they knocked out the third seeds in the first round. Wimbledon watchers will also be relieved to see Emma Raducanu back in good form as she clocked up a straight sets win over Russia's Anna Blinkova to get her grass season off to a good start.
Yeah, I'm so happy to have come through that match and to be back playing here at Queen's. I actually haven't won a match for a few months and there's no place I would rather have done it. So I'm really grateful for all the support. So thank you.
Wednesday sees the official release of Steven Spielberg's new alien epic Disclosure Day. It's got an amazing cast including Emily Blunt, Josh O'Connor, Colin Firth, Coleman Domingo and Eve Hewson, and they have been popping up everywhere to talk up the potential summer blockbuster. Spielberg has a long track record of alien and UFO-based movies, from 80s classic like Close Encounters of the Third Kind and E.T. to more recent films like War of the Worlds. So, where did his fascination with life outside our planet come from? Well, he told CBS that the love affair stretches back to when he was just a kid.
I was about 5 or 6 years old, and when your father comes in the bedroom and puts you in a car, and I kept saying, "Dad, what is it? What is it?" He said, "It's a surprise." And he stopped at a big park, and it was the Perseus meteor shower. And that was the beginning of my love affair with the sky.
There's a new movie on the way that you really probably shouldn't watch if you're in any way claustrophobic. It's called Whale Fall, and it sees a diver, get swallowed whole by a sperm whale. Before you ask, yes, that is technically possible, and no, you probably wouldn't survive, but in the movie, Austin Abrams, who you may know from Euphoria, has an hour's worth of air in which to escape. It looks terrifying, and with a supporting cast including Josh Brolin, Elizabeth Shue and a sperm whale, it could make a big splash when it hits cinemas in October.
I can teach you things. I can give you all the tools. You can be whatever you want, anything you want. When it matters, you know what to do.
You've been listening to The Smart 7. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Hit that follow button and have a great day. Give us 7 minutes, and we'll give you the world.
Before we had AT&T Business Wireless coverage, our delivery GPS wasn't the most reliable. Once our driver had to do a 14-point turn to get back en route. A 14-point turn! An influencer even live streamed the whole thing. Not good for business. Now with AT&T Business Wireless, routes are updating on the fly and deliveries are on time. And the influencer did get us 53 new followers, though.
AT&T Business Wireless. Connecting changes everything.
There's a feeling a lot of homeowners share right now. Mortgage, always on time. lots of equity. On paper, you're doing fine, but then the insurance bill lands. Property taxes, health care, child care, tuition. The math just isn't mathing. Unlock wants to talk about the squeeze American homeowners are feeling and what you can do about it. Start at unlock.com/equity. Unlock Home Equity Solutions, Inc., NMLS 2657081.